Oh, I
Dr.
love
Scott
this.
Miller is here now, and that's got to be the first question, really.
Well, broken heart syndrome is actually something that's discussed in human medicine.
Yeah.
And it's the result of grief being a massive outpouring of stress. You produce a hormone called cortisol, and that can actually affect your heart muscle. Usually it's transient, but sometimes it can be a permanent damage that they feel. In dogs and cats, absolutely they feel stress. Anyone that loves animals knows that they have such a massive capability to love. They're an animal that lives with people all the time, lives with other animals, and so of course we'll grieve their passing. They'll then produce a level of stress hormone, and so absolutely, although we as veterinary surgeons don't recognise broken heart syndrome, certainly, if you produce enough cortisol, you can understand how those animals would suffer with some degree of health issue.
Right, OK. And you said there that pets definitely do grieve. How can you tell if your pet is grieving?
It's pretty obvious, actually. Most of the time, it's a massive change in behaviour. So it could be that they start to vocalise more, they're whining and complaining, or they're really, really quiet. They just lose their spark, like all of us. You know, you hide away, they'll hide away, they won't want to exercise. And the main thing probably as well is a lack of appetite, all things that we can relate to.
Well, I mean, if you ever wanted proof that that animals go through the grieving process, anyone in Edinburgh will know about Greyfriars Bobby.
Yeah.
And so his owner died. This is in the 19th century in Edinburgh. And he spent 14 years guarding the grave of his owner until he died himself on the 14th of January. That little statue there is just on the corner of Edinburgh's Candlemaker Row and the George IV Bridge. And then, so that's mourning an owner from the other perspective, but also animals like swans.
Yes.
They will miss a partner because they bond for life.
Yeah, they do. Male swans are quite evolved, actually, and they'll sit on the nest as well, so mum can go off and have some food herself. And also, it's a learning experience for them in that, you know, both the good and the bad results with raising cygnets, they'll learn together as they move forward, unlike ducks, who are shockingly cheating on their partners. Yeah, they're shocking.
Those naughty ducks.
Oh, yeah, dark creatures. Whereas the swans, swans are actually, yeah, they stick together, but there's a lot of benefits to that.
But you see, so are we underestimating animals slightly then? Because it seems different animals have different levels of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, and that's something that even transcends human emotion. Yes, we can empathise, but this shows that even elephants can empathise with others. In my practice, when we have animals that pass, I actually think it's a very good idea for companion pet animals in the house to see them, to understand that they have passed.
Well, there was a very powerful piece of footage which showed an orca, a killer whale, and its calf had died, and it was spotted, and it pushed that body around for 17 days until finally it left it alone.
Yeah, and you can imagine the impact that had on the mother. Of course, it had an emotional impact, but a physical one as well. So she wouldn't have been able to hunt for 17 days. So she wouldn't have eaten for 17 days. And any mother that goes through something as horrific as that, your world would be broken. And to see that in the animal world, I think, is a bittersweet but wonderful thing, because it just shows how much we should be
with that
after.
then, one of your pieces of advice, you say that quite obviously that mother was with the calf for the 17 days and before it finally, whether it was hunger or whatever it was, that it moved on. You say if your pet is very close to another pet and the pet dies, don't whisk the body away.
No, if anything, when I perform the sad process of euthanasia in the practice, I actually invite the clients to bring their animals in to maybe not so much pay respects, but just to help them understand where the animal's gone. So many people say, my dog is walking around the house looking for them. That happens a lot. And if they can at least understand that that animal has passed, that part of the stress that could lead to them becoming unwell themselves is alleviated.
Gosh, it does make sense. It seems quite hard to do it, but you've just got to be a bit brave with it, as with all of these things. What about getting another pet? Because you said it can be too soon.
It can be a knee-jerk reaction to immediately just think, let's replace what we've lost. But if you think of that again as people, do we lose parents or loved ones that we've lost. Of course we don't. In the case of animals, it is lovely when you've got room in your heart and your home to move on and to find space for another animal that might need a home. But to immediately throw one in there, from a cat's point of view, cats actually aren't particularly sociable, so don't really like other cats. And dogs, yes, they are a pack animal. They enjoy the company of others. But I think you should just take some time, allow them to grieve, come through that process. And then out the other side, if you think that you've got room in your home and also the financial implications of having a pet, all those things, if they all make sense, then sometimes that process is very healthy for an animal.